Hello and welcome to Flipping Furniture with Blue Red Interiors YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to show you how my client's mahogany sideboard went from this to this using wood bleach. The client asked me if I could lighten her mahogany sideboard and I was a little worried because outcomes are not guaranteed. So I said to her that all we could do is give it a try and see if the wood bleaching would work. But if it didn't, we would have to go a different way, such as possibly painting for the lighter look they were after. They agreed to see what could be achieved, so I started by stripping down the piece in manageable sections with a chemical stripper. I did this over 2 to 3 days. I would have liked to have taken the drawer fronts off for this process, but the way they were constructed meant that I couldn't do that. The interiors of the sideboard were also stained in a red mahogany, so the client asked for those to be painted in a custom mix duck egg colour that I'd done previously for another client's piece. I'll get to that bit a bit later. I like to use nylon scrubbing brushes after initially scraping off most of the finish and the stripper. This extra step of scrubbing is really efficient for removing the rest of the stain and finish. I decided to leave in the brass keyholes because they were set in so neatly and tight, and as well as the cabinet door hinges. The paint stripper would clean those up simultaneously for me anyway. I had previously taken off the locks from the backs of the doors. I included stripping for the backs of the cabinet doors as well. My belief is that whole doors should be included to be stripped and bleached rather than one side painted. I think a little extra work makes a nicer and more professional end result for the client. The next step is sanding. I make sure the stripper does most of the work for me, so when it's time for sanding, there isn't much left to do. I'll sand the flat areas with my orbital and finishing on a grit of 220 to remove any last remnants of colour. And the rest with the corbels and the details, I'll gently hand sand. At this point, once I'm sure all of the original finish and stain had been removed, I can move on to the wood bleaching process. And if you want to see a dedicated video to that process, I'll link the video below in the description. This was actually an easy process, simply spraying on the 2-part bleach that is mixed together in this spray bottle and working it in with a brush. Wood bleaching is not as scary as it sounds, and paint stripping is actually more labour intensive. After the bleach application, it was time to wait for it to do the work of lifting the tannins up and out to the surface. At this point, the wood lightens, but it's important to wait until after the cleaning process to see the full results. The results so far blew me away. The mahogany was lightened considerably and was quite even in colouring. It was more of a yellow at this point, but clearly well on its way to a lighter tone. I did find that I needed to apply extra coats to the inside of the doors where the mahogany was more strong in colour. The tannins are literally dripping off this piece. Can you see the yellow puddle of water? That's what the wood crystal cleaning solution has done. I can't wait to see what this looks like when it's dry. Stay tuned. After cleaning it down with the wood cleaning crystals provided in the kit, the wood got darker, which is absolutely normal. At this point, yellow tannins were dripping off the piece onto the floor in a yellow puddle. So now I had to wait until it was dry to see the final results of the wood bleaching process. Here it is, and it looked incredible. A typical Australian mahogany sideboard that now looks more French country in my opinion. The results were fantastic and we couldn't have asked for a better outcome. If you've tried wood bleaching, let me know if it worked out for you. Let me know in the comments. Also, if you found this video helpful so far, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe so you see more of my videos. Inside one of the drawers was an old felt liner that had to be removed, and luckily the base of the drawer was just nailed in at the back and the drawer base was just floating and could be slid out. For the age of the piece, I thought that it would have been glued in using animal hide glue, which can be re-emulsified with hot water. However, I soon got a rude shock when I found out that it was modern day glue and the felt must have been added to the drawer at a later date. You can see here that the glue is still taking a strong hold. If it was animal hide glue, the felt would have peeled straight off, leaving a gooey glue behind. Thankfully, I only had one drawer out of 3 to deal with, and it was only this base. So if you've ever had to remove felt, you'd know how much of a pain this is and extremely difficult. I looked into my wood stash to see if I could just replace the drawer base, but I didn't have quite the right size piece that I needed. So I thought about driving to town to get the right piece, but that also would have just taken up too much time. So I persevered to find the right means to get the felt off. I tried a variety of things, but ultimately the heat gun first to remove the bulk of the felt, followed by a soak-in paint stripper, was the ultimate way to remove the felt. You'll definitely have to remember that trick. Okay, so now that was done, I wanted to prep the interior cabinets and the drawers for priming and painting. I wanted to do this first before continuing with the exterior, mainly because of the break in the cabinet door ledges, where the paintwork would meet the bleached wood. And the same with the drawers meeting the drawer fronts. After cleaning and a good scuff sand, I used Bin Zinzer shellac to prime and block in the red stain and the tannins from the mahogany. Then I could add the fun duck egg colour, which really brightened and cleaned up those dark stained interiors. I was starting to see just how beautiful this piece was becoming. So now the piece is almost done. A quick check with a spray of water showed that the wood was still showing orange tones. So to correct that, all that was needed now was a paint wash to stop those orange tones from showing through the top coat. I also did another light hand sand across the whole piece to remove any last faded remnants of colour that wasn't completely washed off. But before I could do the next step of the paint wash, I had to correct a number of old red filler spots, mainly along the back on the top, some smaller parts along the sides and drawers, and one filled spot on the front of the middle cabinet door. I used mixes of paints to disguise the red filler. I could have dug out the old filler and filled again with a better match filler, but I didn't because the red filler was sound and strong already, and it was just the wrong colour, so that's why I decided to paint instead. I kept blending the paint until I had a pretty good colour match to the wood. Then with the added paint wash over the top, it would also help to blend it all together further. For my paint washes, I love to use a 1:10 ratio basically every time I do a paint wash. I found it is the lightest ratio possible, so we don't have any paint left on the surface, but enough to tone down the orange tones. Years ago, it was called pickling the wood, but it's the same process of creating an almost translucent wash with paint. So for my paint washes, I like to mix up a colour that's close to the colour of the wood I'm applying it to. For this wash, I used mostly an oatmeal colour called Calico by Pureco Paint and a few drizzles of a greyish tan colour called Alanquen by Fusion Mineral Paint. If you want to see more of how I mix and apply a paint wash, I'll link that video below for you. On the home stretch now and applying the top coat. I usually choose either a matte or a satin sheen, but for this piece I chose matte because I felt like it was more suited to the look and of a French country raw wood feel. I sprayed on 2 to 3 coats with light sanding in between. For the lighter look pieces, I always choose a water-based top coat of poly or varnish because water-based top coats don't turn yellow over time. This piece was incredible to work on, and I have to thank my client for taking the chance on this process. I think we were lucky to get the best outcome possible for this piece. I love that it ended up looking like a French country style and that it has its own unique look. I love that the wood grain is more pronounced and that it was done from an antique piece that was already owned by the client and refinished rather than moved on. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.